Hi everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. Well, thanks to everyone for stopping by for our 12th episode here. We just finished at Lindblum. We're kind of getting out into the world, right? We talked about Q's March and all that, but before we continue, I got some talking points this time. So first off, I already talked to Alex about this. Sorry, dude. Totally miscounted on that last C trivia. So, yes, he did pass. So, if you were listening to that
Yay!
last episode and you're like, dude, what the heck? Totally missed one. So, my bad on that. He did get his seed rank 7. So, nice,
All
man.
right.
There you go. Sorry for the
Yeah.
confusion. And then some different things. So I was playing, I'm kind of following the story, right? So I played up through basically what we are going to talk about today. But before I got to the grotto, some kind of actual notes, things I picked up. So I think it's very interesting in this game, man, that the potions heal less out of combat.
Oh yeah.
I was using potions. And I'm like, this is so strange. Like, this is the only one that I'm aware of in which, for instance, a potion, if you're just in your menu, you're looking at your characters, you're using your
Yeah.
items, it only heals for 100. But if you're in combat, it heals for 150.
Yeah. I
It kind of,
can't think of another one either. It definitely does add that kind of different element where, if you're trying to heal, it's more, well, I don't want to say it's more efficient, but you like what you said, you get more healing in the battles,
yeah.
but you're also taking damage,
But
so it's always
yeah.
one of those things. So, yeah.
Yeah, so just something kind of interesting there. Also, a side note, if you are hurting for money big time, totally forgot about this, but the yellow scarf that you can synthesize, it does have the millionaire ability for Kina, and so if you're really wanting some gilly, go for it. I will say that I was trying to eat all the enemies, so I did a decent amount of fighting, and I'm already up to like 20,000 gil.
Yeah.
It goes really quick, so easy. So that's it. Something that we've talked about before, but it's just hilarious. Kina's weapon damage is just so strange. It's kind of like Senna in 9, and then also if you're familiar with hammers and axes and bombs in 12, it's kind of like that where the damage is just random because she'll crank off like a 40 hit, and then right after that it'll be like 600, and it's like, what the heck, man? It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it seems like the way those weapons are, the damage calculation, it's like, you know, as the attack power goes up, it's almost like the average damage goes up, and then there's like a huge swing of variance that
Yeah,
goes along with it, where it can either hit really hard or hit really light or something,
yeah,
which can be extremely frustrating when you're trying to like kill an enemy or do something like that.
exactly. You gotta roll the dice with her. And then, kind of just on the note of fighting and combat and all that, if you're kind of like me, I was starting to get bogged down with trying to catch up on AP. So it would just kind of behoove you if you're kind of like me, where you're falling behind on a bunch of stuff. Just do some battles, grind out a little bit. Doesn't take that much, and kind of help you get some levels, get some money, AP, and all that stuff. So I was just kind of thinking about that. And then lastly, for the Chocobo Forest, pretty hilarious stuff. So we talked about hot and cold. Obviously, we talked about last time that you should at the very least just do it till you get the stream side chocograph. You get the Germanus boots, Germanus, whatever you say, which are pretty
Hmm.
darn good. You get 2 of them. You also get some other things, potions and whatnot in that box. But the other one that you can get right now, like in this, before going anywhere else, is the Between Mountains one, which it's okay. It's nothing great. Cotton robes, which you could already synthesize. So if you already did that, it's kind of like, okay, cool, whatever. But here was the thing for me. So we talked about it too. The chocographs are in a pool, right? You get stream side, but then it's in a pool of things. And dude,
Yeah.
literally the last one for that entire forest was Between Mountains for me. I
Ugh.
I had to do like an
Yeah.
hour and a half of hot and cold. I'm like, please, I'm like,
Oh,
I don't care about the Chocobo Lagoon ones, and all these
it is so
the
frustrating. I know
the
what you
you know the
mean.
Frozen Island one and all these things. I'm like, no, just give me Between Mountains. I'm right here.
Yeah, and I exactly, and I think there's like 15,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot.
it's pretty much random which one you get. So, yeah, you'll keep digging up chocographs, you'll go check, and it'll be like Dusky Lagoon or something like
Yeah,
that, where you can't even get there. It's frustrating. I've been there, man.
It is frustrating. Yeah, the last one. And then he's like, I don't think there's any more left. I'm like, of course there's not. I've already gotten the whole bag full of them because it's just one in between mountains. That's it. Anyways, that's all I got. We're going to get going here. So, some things we left out last episode is we did not talk about how you can visit Southgate. It's kind of actually right back by the Chocobo Forest, kind of in that corner there. So, if you get in there, you'll recognize it if you saw the ATE with the Tantalus troop, how they were there. Cinna was making coffee. Well, if you go right over to the right, first of all, there's a healing spring. So if you want to save your potions and you want to kind of level up a little bit, do that sort of thing, I would recommend just kind of fighting over that area, getting random encounters.
Yeah.
If your characters start getting low, don't waste your potions and all that. Just pop in, heal at the spring.
Yep, it's a good little grinding spot because it's free. It's a full HP MP restore, and the enemies around this area you can get a lot of EXP. They're pretty tough, so it's actually quite a good spot to grind.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure, well, on that spring, it's kind of hard to miss, but if you go just a little bit further to the right, you can pick up some coffee, some Cinna's mocha coffee. It says very
Mocha
delicious
coffee.
coffee beans. It's the
Well, I love
description.
that too, because I mean, mocha's like a type of coffee, but it's not like a type of coffee bean.
No, it's not. It's very
But
interesting.
yeah, so I love the way the game does that. But anyways, yeah, moving
Yeah.
on. So after this point, so from Southgate, we already talked a little bit about Chocobo's Forest and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
then you can head on over, progress the story, start heading on over to Gizamaluke's Grotto, which I think has one of the best tracks in the game.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's Freya's theme is the
Yeah.
the sound of it, and or the name of it rather. And dude, I agree. I think it's probably in the top 3 for me in the game, and probably top 3 of all time. It is just a really really good track.
Yeah, it's really good, and then this is where the story really starts heating up. You can tell that there's been some fighting. There's some dead guys on the ground, some dead Burmesian soldiers, but it's kind of funny. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but you can actually still see their eyes blinking.
I know, and I haven't noticed that.
It's just weird. And then I guess they have a different way of locking doors around here, huh?
Yeah, well, and back to that too, real quick. It like you said with the story, it's starting to heat up, and there's starting to be kind of there's already been strife between the party, mainly Steiner and Zidane, but Freya, she kind of starts to look at Vivi there at the beginning, right? They get up to it, all the dudes are dead, and she looks at Vivi, and it's kind of almost you can kind of see the resentment almost building there. Even though
Hmm.
obviously Vivi had nothing to do with it, but it's like your kind are killing my kind, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, the doors in this are they're kind of cool, right? You get the bells, so that's how it is. Each door has a bell. You have to get a little handbell to ring so that way the door will open. And I mean, I get it. They're under attack, so this kind of seems like it's a defense mechanism type of deal. And maybe the doors are open every day, but just what's up with this, man? You gotta get a bell, and then it shatters in your hand, and then what happens when you close the door again? You gotta get another bell. Like, do they have a bell factory or something? What is going on?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a creative way of locking doors,
It
but
is.
it is really funny though because yeah, every single bell, it's like the bell in your hand and the bell in the door is ringing, and then the bell in your hand shatters, and then the door opens.
Yeah, yeah. Which again, pretty cool, but yeah, it just doesn't seem very economical to do that.
Yeah.
But you go forward, you get a little glimpse. Thorn and Thorn are there with all the black mages they've been creating, and they just say kill, right? Kill, kill, and they do all that.
Kill, yeah.
And so they're killing all these soldiers, all these filthy rats, as we'll hear later about it. And then you have to do your first fight, and you fight them, and you're just like, dude, these guys are a cakewalk. First of all, don't even attempt to eat them. Kino will say it doesn't taste good. And then but they don't do very much damage. They just use basic magic, which yeah, it's like, 70, 80, but it's kind of like maybe a little over 100, depends, but it's just big whoop, not a big deal. And they're just easy, and it makes you wonder, like, dude, I guess strength in numbers, because how the heck are these guys taking over a kingdom right now? Like, we're just smashing through them, no big deal.
Yeah, I know. And their spells like fire does like 100 damage or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, apparently enough to take over or to kill a bunch of the Burmesian soldiers. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just some very basic fire and thunder spells will do it.
Yeah, so you get through that fight, Zorn and Thorn, they run away, and then you're able to wander around now. essentially in the grotto. But before we start wandering, we're going to go ahead and let's get the bold move here. So we'll hit that and then we'll continue on. But bold move first. So I'll go ahead and start us off here. So my bold move is, it goes to Final Fantasy VIII, and it goes to Zell, and it was kind of a bold move of him to decide to get a face tattoo. Because, I mean, no one else has anything remote like that, and then here comes Zell, fiery Zell, chicken wuss. He's like, I know what I'll do, I'll get a face tattoo, that'll make everyone think I'm cool.
I'll make everybody think he's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's true.
He can really fight then. Might, have to resort to some dirty tactics every once in a while, but no, it's okay, it just shows that he can fight.
Exactly, and and this isn't anything against face tattoos in general in the real life, but just in the game of 8, it's just hilarious. Like, no one else has tattoos anywhere, and then here comes Zell with a big old face tattoo on the whole side. So, kind of a bold move, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. Alright, and for this week, my bold move, taking it all the way back to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, Mark, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but...
Try my best.
At the end of Chapter 1, when you're fighting Algus at Fort Zeekton, it was a bold move for him to shoot Delita's sister with the crossbow. Oh,
yeah, at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, that
all the sounds are great.
I love it, but yeah, that was so bad. Didn't work out too well for him. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's our bold moves this time, and yeah, let's get back into the grotto and see what kind of mischief we can get into. So basically, the first thing that you should notice after the Black Mage battle is that there's 3 doors, right? And each has a bell. And you have one from that fight, if I'm remembering correctly. And at this point, it doesn't really matter which one you go through. You do want to hit up the left one, though. Because if you do go at, you get the dying rat up there, the soldier. Before you make that turn, if you kind of search the left-hand side, you do find yourself a bronze vest, which is actually pretty good right now. So make sure you pick that up.
Yeah, this game has a lot of just random items on the ground, where it's not in a chest, you wouldn't know that it's there, but if you kind of, if you have them like run against the wall, oftentimes you'll come across a little exclamation mark. And yeah, you'll get a bronze vest. But also another interesting thing there is that there is a really specific order to do these to get all the items. Like, you could totally skip that door, but like you said, you get a bronze vest, and the nice thing is the dying soldier also gives you another bell, so you don't really miss out on anything by doing that.
Right. And you can open every door, so it's not like if you choose wrong and you get stuck. I believe if you run out and you can't continue, which I don't know how you couldn't, but the very beginning one, he'll give you another one. You can find another one at the end. I found that out. And
yeah, that's right.
So no worries there. So it does not matter which order, but just, for, I guess, the sake of kind of making it flow a little better, if you hit up the left one first, get the bronze vest, and then you can keep going. At this point, the right and the middle both lead to the same chamber. The right path is just a much longer kind of wraparound one, so, more chance to get in random battles if that's what you're wanting. If not, then probably just choose the middle one. It takes you right up. And then there's a giant bell on the ground and a Moogle.
Yeah, and you get this little scene where finally the coupon nut that Vivi bought but he got for free back at Lindblum, comes into play, where there's this little Moogle there. What's her name? Maguda?
Mogmi, yeah.
Oh, it's Mogmi. Okay, so yeah, Mogmi, she's trying to get Maguda out of the bell.
Sniff, sniff.
She's just
sniff, sniff.
Yeah,
sniff, sniff.
Yeah, sniff, sniff.
And then Vivi's like, can I help you? Or I don't know, something, but yeah, it's just going on forever, just sniffing.
And basically, it's sort of like Kupo Nut gives Maguda the strength to bust out of the bell, I guess.
What we have here is the classic grandma stunk under the bus, lifting it up to save the child type of deal. We have some super being strength coming out of this Moogle to just toss the bell aside to get a Kupo Nut.
It's a really funny scene.
He's very passionate about that, but basically, yeah. So you get they run away, and then there's a chest in the bell that has another bell, chest under the big bell that has a small bell. There we go. And if you follow them to the right, you ring it. They're inside. Not too much to say here. Maguto asks if you like Koopa nuts. If you say no, he literally just point blank says, "I hate you." So you have to say yes. And then it kind of just, to get out of that. Mogmi is the save Moogle there, and Mognet, you don't have anything new to get, or to give, rather, but Mogmi does have a letter from Mudon, or whatever, just like to her herself, right? So, that's the only thing. So no new letters still. We still only have Maki to Atla. We kind of have been having that one for a while now, so no progress on that yet, but as you... Well, actually, you can head out, right? And you can go out into the world. Is there anything out there?
No, this is kind of a funny part, though, where you can head out to the world, but you definitely want to have a save file before you do that, because when you go out there, there are a whole bunch of really high-level enemies that are going to take you out in, like, one shot. So, just an FYI, I know a lot of people have probably played this game and know that part. So there are ways of beating them, and you can gain crazy levels at this point in the game.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just best to just avoid
it. Okay. Well, so if you went out there, head on back in before you die, and if not, regardless, you only have one way to go. You have to head out, and that's when Maguta spun a statue around you. Get the Holy Bell, which then unlocks the last door you need to go into, right? That's on the other side of the bell. And at this point, I mean, not too much. You do make sure you get the mage's hat. It's under the arch. So if you went in the middle, just make sure you kind of go down that route. If you went through the right door, you would have to go underneath the arch anyway. And the good thing is it teaches Vivi slow, right? Which, hint, might come in use here in a moment.
And while you're trying to get those items, because it is kind of a long walk to get that one.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Lamia in this area. It's a pretty difficult random encounter enemy.
Yeah.
She's got pretty high. It's sort of like trying to explain the enemy real quick. It's sort of like a snake, like a hybrid snake.
Yeah, it's like a princess snake thing.
Something. It's weird. It's super weird. And I think Lamia has sort of they've used it in bunch of different Final Fantasies and things like that. But anyways, it's got relatively high HP, 994, which at this point in the game is pretty...
It's pretty substantial.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really annoying because she can cause confuse with Entice, and also starts using Might, which increases attack power. And, she uses that 2 or 3 times. She'll start straight up just one-shotting her characters.
Crazy stuff.
Another funny thing is you can teach Kina level 3 defenseless if you manage to eat.
So it's kind of an enemy that you're not really expecting, because up to this point, I mean, there was a few in the open world. Up to this point, it's been like goblins, lizardmen, stuff like that, or whatever, and it's been kind of easy. But then this one comes along, and confuse, one-shotting you if he gets it, can cure herself, and so it's kind of crazy. The good old Gizamaluke is the boss here, and right off the bat, steel, right? Get some steel going. He has elixir, the Magus hat, and an ice staff, which is pretty funny because Alex and I just talked about this.
Yeah.
And apparently the ice staff has terrible steel rate.
I always try to go for the ice staff. It's so nice to get at this point in the game. It's not like you have to wait a long time before you can buy it in the stores, but it's just... A lot of these steals are basically a way just to get equipment a little bit earlier than you'd normally be able to.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, going along with what Mark just said, the ice staff has a 16 in 256 chance.
Yeah, that's...
If you're not getting it, don't worry about it. Just steal a bunch of times. I think the elixir's 100%, the Magus hat is 25%, so if you don't get it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, a 1 in 16th chance, that's not very great. And then it's funny just because when I went through it, I stole once, got the elixir, stole second time, got the Magus hat, stole third time, got the ice staff. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, first three steals, first all that. So I
Uh,
was happy about that.
hardly ever happens, man.
Yeah, I was happy.
Yeah.
But overall, he doesn't have too much crazy stuff. He can be a pretty challenging fight. I would say the most, well, I was gonna say the biggest hitting thing is the fact that he counters magic with silence,
Yeah.
which I guess isn't a big deal. Vivi doesn't really do too much. It's about, I think the blizzard and lightning do more than fire, and I think they do about 120-ish, which,
Yeah.
that's decent, but at the same time, you don't have a healer here. So there's a couple things you can do about it, just in my opinion. Obviously, do whatever the heck you want. But what is it? Loudmouth? Loudmouth ability you do have available at this point, so you can have that equipped. Boom, that takes care of silence, and you could just cast as you want. Or if you don't have it, or whatever case, and VV is silenced, man, at that point just use him as a potion healer. Just keep it on standby and just have him use potions as people get hit.
Exactly.
Because 120 a hit isn't gonna really, you're not gonna be really killing it with VV here. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of different strategies you can use against this guy. One thing that I always forget about is in battle, the tent is actually an item that you can use in battle.
yeah.
And if you use it on him, occasionally, I don't know what the percentage chance is, but he'll get hit with darkness, silence, and blind, which can be really useful. It does heal him all the way, but he gets hit with those three. And then another really interesting one I did on my level 1 game, this is kind of an obscure method. If you're really low level and you basically can't beat them normally, just basically kill Kina, go and save your game, and then try to revive her and just keep on doing that until you get her at 1 HP.
Okay, so you revive and wait to an instance where she revives with just 1 HP.
Yeah, so when you use a Phoenix down this game, it randomly gives them anywhere between 1 and I don't know, like 10 or 12 HP or something like
Right.
that. So, you'll use a Phoenix down and be like 3 HP. Reload, try again. But once you can get her at 1 HP, and this is how you typically do like a level 1 challenge in this game, you would have Limit Glove is a blue magic that you can learn from the Mandragoras by Southgate.
Okay.
So once you get her at 1 HP, you just go into the battle, use Limit Glove, and it's a one-hit kill.
Wow, how much damage does it do?
Quad 9.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it does not matter what your magic, what your strength is. Limit Glove, if you're at 1 HP, does just straight up quad 9 damage. It's
Wow.
pretty broken.
That is pretty broken. That kind of defeats the whole level 1 challenge, doesn't it? Because the whole point is you're making it difficult on yourself, but then you're just manipulating it so that way you're one-shotting everything anyways.
Yeah, but with the level 1 challenge, it's impossible to beat this game without using tricks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like maybe you could probably beat this guy at level 1 normally, but it'd take a long time, it'd be really frustrating. But definitely later on in the game, you pretty much just have to use Limit Glove or Lucky Sevens or any of those tricks.
That's true. But, you get the boss down, and rather than continuing on, it takes us a different route. We get to go see what's going on with Sir Rusty. But before we get there, let's do our seed trivia. So as said earlier, Alex did in fact get his rank 7. So we are on rank 8 seed trivia. So here we go, man. I hope you're ready. Buckle up.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Right.
We're going to start off in Final Fantasy 7. So Red's first weapon, so like just what he has, right, equipped when you first get him. So Red's first weapon is the Mithril Clip.
True.
In Final Fantasy VIII, Selphie's friend, the one who you get the card from, she is by a fountain.
True.
All right. Final Fantasy XII, when taken on Gilgamesh, he uses Disable level 3 during the first encounter.
Yeah, I know he uses that move. I just don't know if it's the first encounter or what encounter it is. I'm gonna say false.
Final Fantasy X-2. Alright, you get the Lady Luck Dress Sphere from Shinra. And I'm leaving it kind of open-ended because I can't give too much info. Why is it?
Yeah. True.
Alright, confidence. In Final Fantasy IX, now this one, I'm about 90% on this, okay? So, for the correct answer. because I tried looking it up, I couldn't find it, and then I forgot to look myself. But for Chocobo Hot and Cold, Choco's for when his beak level is level 1, the dig damage starts out at 5.
Oh man. Oh god. I don't know. False.
Final Fantasy 13. Here we go, man. Let's see how much you know about these. The Ultimate Physique Synthesis Group makes you immune to physical damage, but you can't be healed by magic.
Wait, what? I don't really know what that is.
Oh wait, okay. So obviously you got the synthesis groups, right? All the different equipments are part of the different groups. Stack them up, and they give you the benefits. So Ultimate Physique is one of the synthesis groups, and it will make you immune to physical damage, but you can't be healed by magic. I had to throw you a curveball, man.
Yeah.
I gotta get the good ones. All right, Final Fantasy X. Finish it up there. So when fighting the Chocobo Eater, if you're wanting to push him off the edge, you need to push him twice.
False. It's 3 times.
All right, let's recap it then. So question 1, we had Red's first weapon is the Mithril Clip. You said true, and it is true. That's his first weapon. Alright, Final Fantasy VIII for Selphie's friend, who has the card, which we all know is the most fun card fight in the world. She is, in fact, by a fountain. You said true, so you got that. Alright, Final Fantasy XII, we got Gilgamesh Battle. You said false, that the question was that if he uses Disable level 3 during the first encounter. You said false, and it is false. He doesn't use it until the second encounter. First encounter is kind of a joke with him, isn't it?
Okay. Good on. Yeah, it is. I can definitely
Yeah. Alright, Final Fantasy X-2. You get Lady Luck Dress Sphere from Shinra. You said true, and it is true. And this is actually, I was thinking about this, man. What is it? Sphere Break. How did we not talk about that during our minigame series? I totally forgot about that. The coins, and all that stuff. It's definitely a big minigame. I can't say I liked it, but...
Yeah, me neither.
Anyways,
yeah,
you beat him during the competition, and that's how you get it. The Sphere Break competition. Alright, Final Fantasy IX. We got Choco's dig damage is like 5 starting out, right? Something about that. You said false, but I say it's true. Like I said, I'm about 90%. I think it's 5. I think you start out at 5. Now, there's different things that factor in later on with like your Chocobo color and all this different stuff, but first off, your very first Chocobo Hot and Cold, you hit it. I'm pretty darn sure it does 5, so we can double check that one, but that's your first wrong. I don't think it's going to affect anything here. Alright, Final Fantasy 13, the Ultimate Physique Synthesis Group. You said true, and it is true, so I don't know how many pieces, I forgot to look that up, but if you do get the Ultimate Physique Synthesis Group, you are immune to physical damage, which that's kind of interesting. I'll have to look into this once we get to 13. But you just can't, magic has no effect on you. So like beneficial magic has no effect. So you can't be healed. I'm assuming that at that point you probably can't have bravery and protect and all that stuff. And then you just gotta use potions to heal, which good luck. Alright, Final Fantasy X, the last one for Chocobo Eater. You do need to push him 3 times. You got it correct as you said that. It's not 2 times, so... Alright, man, you missed 1. So,
nice.
Unfortunately, you didn't... No, I'm just kidding.
Aw, that would be rough if you had to get 100%.
100%!
Yeah.
But nice, dude. Seed rank 8. You're moving up in life.
Nice.
Moving
there we
up.
go. Woohoo!
But, alright, let's go ahead and let's see what Rusty is up to. So after, you fight Gizamaluke, does that battle, and then it pans to something else. You hear some nice music, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you hear the clatter, right? Ching, 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 ching. You're like, okay, it can only be Steiner. And it's so we're at the North Gate is what we find out. So he's at the North Gate. He's just carrying a giant bag with him. And it's very interesting, the initial conversation, right, with the guards, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I love this whole part. You've got the short guard and the tall guard. And
yep.
I mean, I think this is the first time you see them, but after this, you see a couple of extra scenes and things, and they have some really funny like back and forth going on there. But yeah, basically, they're basically like trying to make sure that he's not smuggling anything through or anything like that. And they check the bag, and of course, Steiner, being the pickle fiend that he is, put a whole bunch of Gasol pickles in there.
Yeah, just and of course everyone doesn't like him. The dudes, yeah, like the stench and all that,
Yeah,
and then what Steiner responds with like I can't start my day without them. And then he's
yeah,
like, yeah, anyone who likes that always says that.
yeah.
It's like
Just got to eat one pickle a day.
one pickle a
So,
day, starting it out. But
yeah,
it's pretty funny. Like you said, those guards, a short, tall guard, they're just funny. They have good banter, is what it
yeah,
is. For a moment there, they just talk about how Garnet's the most beautiful, girl in the land, pretty much. And then everyone, everywhere, who's like, Garnet's so beautiful, but how the heck that happened for Braun. And so, but after that, what you
exactly.
get in, he lets you in, and you kind of have a little bit of room to roam. There is a
Hmm.
chest that's on top of a ladder. You can't get that right now because you're carrying the
Yeah,
bag, and he says can't do it. But instead, is if you first enter the zone, you go straight to the left in that corner. You will get a Multina racket, which
yeah.
is for Garnet, and you'll be able to use it here pretty soon.
Which is a pretty nice weapon. This actually makes Garnet or Dagger like a really good physical attacker at this point because it's a long range weapon
Yeah,
and she can typically do like, 100, damage with them, which
yeah,
is pretty dang good.
from the back row too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's definitely helpful, and it's got oh shoot, I'm trying to remember what abilities it has on it. But I think it might maybe protect or something. I can't remember, but it's something
Yeah.
new. So
Yeah. I think it has float by chance or something like that. But yeah, we're not sure on the abilities, but it's a really good weapon. So
yeah, it's a good weapon, we promise.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty interesting spot because right next to that there's a kind of I wrote down guy. He's not so much of a person, is he's kind of like a blue elephant like creature.
Yeah.
But
Anteater thing, something.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Or
Anteater's
part.
probably better description. But he's at this door that's at the left, right? And he's like kind of having some conversation. He's basically like, I'm supposed to keep this door running, but I just shine it up so it looks like it's good. No one uses it. And it kind of will reflect back to way back, right after the evil forest, that you can't get through the door because it's not working. Because this dude isn't fixing it. And so Steiner realizes this. And it's just funny, man, because it gives you the options of kill or don't kill.
Yeah, I love that part. And I mean, I always choose kill because it's so funny. He does like a lunge move towards him, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I almost lost control of myself there.
Well, yeah, he begins to, and then he gets a big kick in the back,
That's what it
and
was, yeah.
then he's like, almost lost control of myself. It's hilarious,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But
yeah, don't kill him. Can't do that.
no, can't
And
actually kill him.
no, and the whole point is you have to talk to this guy anyways, right? Because you're kind of putting two and two together at this point. You realize that Dagger is in the sack, just basically covered in pickles, and you're trying to get what is it, kind of like a hallway or something to the right side of the map, trying to get it cleared. And so you have to talk to that guy originally, because then you got to go talk to like the head engineer guy, tell on him. He goes over there and talks to the guy about fixing the door. And then the other one is you got to get stupid part-time Mary or part-time worker Mary out of the way. Basically, you just got to talk to the other two people too. But you find out that she's like hardcore crushing on him, and then like once they're talking, you go over to him, and he's like, "Who is this chick?"
Yeah, I
It's
know.
hilarious.
It's so weird, the whole situation. Yeah. Anyways, after you do that, you go into there's like a little alley. You kind of just progress the story. It's the only place you can go.
Yep.
As it turns out, the reason why there were so many Gasol pickles in that bag was because he was trying to hide Dagger in there, and they didn't want him to find her.
Right.
So she finally gets let out of the bag or whatever, and then she figures like this is a good time to get changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Because what Steiner's looking
Yeah.
towards the screen, towards us, right?
on the lookout.
It's always a funny little cut scene here too. You get a choice that she starts to change, and because you're controlling Steiner essentially, and you can go look out the other end. It's so if you don't, I mean, it just progresses the same way it would. But if you do go ahead and decide to walk, because she's behind some like crates or something, but he's walking to the other end, and what is like internal dialogue? She's like or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Please don't look this way or something.
yeah.
But of course Steiner doesn't because he's a good guy, so.
No, and I was actually thinking about that too. Like, I guess Garnet's a princess, right? Or Dagger's a princess, and I guess what's kind of she doesn't act like it. You know what I mean? Like she has the duty, but she's also just kind of a normal person, and of course they're trying to act like that. But she's a princess getting changed in an alleyway behind some crates. Come on,
I know, right?
Then again, it is those pickles, so maybe that's the only reason why, because they're so sticky.
Yeah, seriously.
If you do go forward, well, you actually have to, as Alex kind of alluded to. This is a pretty linear area, not much to do at all. Once she changes, it actually go ahead and it takes you to the next little section, in which you do have a Moogle. His name is Grimo or something like that, and he gives you another one. So now you got 2 letters. So you got that. What is it? The Monkey to Atla one. You still have that, and now you have a new one, which is Grimo to Nazna. And so those are the 2 we're working for with Mognet. Of course, as he's, we'll always let you know what's up. Other than that, there's not much else here. Steiner kind of has some, dialogue with Dagger about what she's like. We made it, without the help of Zidane. And Steiner's like, you didn't ever need his help, But he's just, he kind of is thinking, he's like, something that got me though, he's like, Zidane he's got good wit for a bumpkin.
But the way he spoke to you was completely unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a good part.
But it's interesting because I think Steiner does start to realize that Zidane does have really good wit. Kind of a scene that reminds me of this is back when you're on the ship after you fight Black Waltz 3, and Steiner's like, gosh, how many of them is going to be? And Zidane's like, well, that's the last one, right? It's 3. That's a waltz. And Steiner kind of goes, because it's kind of like how, this common bandit kind of has some really good wit and just kind of knowledge of things, So it's kind of interesting, that aspect of Zidane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't even have anything else to add. I think you summed it up perfectly with that one.
I did a perfect job. And then at this point, you go forward and you get on the cart. You gotta wait, and it's just kind of some minor dialogue going with them. Basically, just telling Steiner to stop acting like she's the princess. Gotta stop calling her princess. Stop saluting her and all that stuff. And then takes us back to the grotto with Freya, Zidane, and Vivi and Kina. If you picked her up. And that's kind of where we're going to leave it, because now you're going out to the open world again. You're heading towards Burmecia, and if you've played this game, you know that area is some heavy-hitting stuff, and so we're going to kind of leave that for a full episode, because, a lot to unpack there, that's for sure. All right, well, that will do it for us on this episode. We thank you all for spending time listening to us. As always, we got our website to check out. Mainly with that, it's the blog post, man. We're putting the songs in there. We got the C trivia, so if you're ever just kind of curious about the questions, they're on there too. But that is final stop at FinalFantasyTalks.com. And then be sure to hit up our social media as well. We post clips of a lot of things. Like, for instance, we're posting clips about the Chocobo treasures and other things like that. And so it's kind of just fun little things to get. Got a lot of media content here from playing through. Check those out, stop by, be a part of it, and as always, we just, thank you for your support. I'm Mark.
And I'm Alex.
And this is a final stop for Final Fantasy Talks.